It was 2:30 p.m., and Chicago O'Hare Airport was chaotic as always. Thousands of people rushing through terminals, dragging suitcases, trying to catch their flights. But at the security checkpoint, Agent Marcus Cole was carefully watching every passenger with sharp eyes. He had been working for TSA for 17 years. He had seen every type of suspicious person, fake IDs, hidden weapons, terror suspects. But the man he encountered that day, he was someone he never expected. When the man entered the line, the first thing that caught Marcus's attention was his clothes. An old jacket, faded jeans, worn sneakers. His hair was messy, unshaven, alone identity unclear. Marcus frowned. This man, this profile. Next, Marcus shouted. The man stepped forward. He handed over his ID, but Marcus's eyes were more on the man's behavior. He looked nervous, looking around as if searching for escape routes. "Your name?" Marcus asked without even looking at the ID. "Don," the man said quietly. "Donald." Marcus looked at the man's face. He seemed familiar but couldn't place where from. But something was there. Something was very wrong. "Where are you traveling to?" "Florida, to Mar-a-Lago." Marcus stopped. "Mar-a-Lago, that luxury resort. This man, in this condition. Are you sure?" he asked suspiciously. The man nodded. "Yes, very sure." That's when alarm bells went off in Marcus's mind. This man was lying. Going to a place like Mar-a-Lago in this state. His ID could be fake. Maybe he was someone on the wanted list. "Sir, please step aside." The man was surprised. "What's wrong?" "Routine check," Marcus said, but his voice was tense. He signaled for backup security. 2 minutes later, 3 more security officers arrived. The man was now surrounded. Other passengers were watching curiously. They started filming with their phones. "Can I see your ID again?" Marcus said. The man handed it over. Marcus examined it carefully. It read Donald J. Trump. Marcus laughed. "Really? Donald Trump, and I'm Barack Obama." The surrounding security officers laughed too. The man waited quietly. "Sir, this ID is fake. I have to detain you." "The ID isn't fake," the man said in a calm voice. "And I really am. I wish," Marcus shouted. "Put your hands behind your back." The handcuffs clicked. The man didn't resist. He accepted it quietly. But there was something in his eyes, not sadness, disappointment. Surrounding passengers watched in amazement. Phones continued recording. Social media posts had already started. "Call Detective Rivera," Marcus said into his radio. "We have a suspect with fake ID." 20 minutes later, the man was sitting in a metal chair at the airport police station. His hands were still cuffed. Across from him, Detective Rivera was shuffling through files at the interrogation table. "So, Donald Trump?" Rivera said in a mocking voice. "What's your real name?" "I told you," the man said in a tired voice. "Donald John Trump." Of course," Rivera said. "And I'm Superman. You'll stay here until we find out your real identity." The man nodded. "Take fingerprints. Do DNA tests. Do whatever you want. But you'll be very surprised when you see the results." Rivera frowned. This man was very confident, as if he really was Donald Trump. "Let's take fingerprints then," Rivera said. System scan began. FBI database, Homeland Security, all federal records were being checked. As Rivera watched the screen, the man's file started loading. But when the result came, Rivera's face changed. This isn't possible," he muttered. The text glowing on the screen read, "Donald John Trump, 45th President of the United States, security clearance, alpha level." Rivera's hands started trembling. He immediately grabbed the phone. "Get airport manager Sarah Winters here immediately. Urgent." 5 minutes later, Sarah Winters came running. Rivera showed her the screen. Sarah's face went white. "Oh my God," she whispered. We actually detained Donald Trump. What do we do?" Rivera asked in panic. "I don't know," Sarah shouted. "Nothing like this has ever happened." Meanwhile, in the interrogation room, the man was still waiting. The handcuffs were hurting his wrists, but he wasn't complaining. He was just looking out the window, watching the planes. Sarah entered the interrogation room, trying to breathe, with Rivera following behind. "Mr. Trump," Sarah said with trembling in her voice. I'm so sorry." Trump turned his head. "Would you please remove the handcuffs?" Sarah immediately looked at Rivera. Rivera tremblingly unlocked the handcuffs. As Trump rubbed his wrists, he asked, "So what happens now?" I don't know, sir," Sarah said. "We don't have protocol for this kind of situation." Trump stood up. "Protocol? You suspected me of being a terrorist and detained me. You took fingerprints. You interrogated me, and now you're looking for protocol." Sarah's eyes filled up. "Sir, I'm so sorry. Agent Cole didn't recognize you. He thought you were a normal passenger." "A normal passenger?" Trump repeated. "I see." Just then the door opened, and Agent Marcus Cole entered. When he saw Trump, he froze. "Sir, I really didn't recognize you." Trump looked at him. "Marcus Cole, 17-year TSA agent, good record, but you made a big mistake today." Marcus's legs started trembling. "Sir, I was doing my job." "Suspicious behavior." "Suspicious?" Trump asked. "Which of my behaviors was suspicious?" Marcus started stuttering. "Your clothes. You seemed nervous. You didn't look like someone going to Mar-a-Lago." "I see," Trump said. "So people who don't look rich are suspicious." Marcus couldn't answer. "So how will you learn from this situation?" Trump asked. Marcus bowed his head. "I don't know, sir. I think I'll lose my job." Trump watched him for a long time, then turned to Sarah. "I want an explanation. How did this incident happen? Who made the decision? And what will be done to prevent this from happening again?" Sarah shuffled through files. "Sir, I'll prepare a report immediately. This incident was completely—" "No," Trump said. "I don't want a report. I want change." "What kind of change, sir?" Trump walked toward the window. "Security training at this airport needs to be reorganized. Education on profiling should be given. And most importantly," he turned and looked at them all, "you need to stop judging people by their clothes." Sarah nodded. "Of course, sir. We'll do everything." "And Marcus," Trump said. Marcus raised his head. "You won't lose your job, but you'll learn from this situation, and you'll teach other agents too." Marcus was surprised. "Sir, thank you." "I don't thank me," Trump said. "Just be better." That night, airport management held an emergency meeting. The incident report was sent to federal authorities. Media wasn't aware yet, but video recordings were circulating on social media. Sarah sat alone in her office, holding her head in her hands. One mistake, just one mistake, but what a big mistake. The next morning, Trump's private jet arrived. This time he was welcomed at the VIP terminal. Sarah, Rivera, Marcus, and all senior staff were there. As Trump stepped off the jet, everything was different. Suit, neat hair, but the same man. Sarah approached. "Sir, I apologize once more for yesterday's incident." Trump raised his hand. "Sarah, yesterday's incident is over, but today is a new beginning." "What do you mean, sir?" "I'm launching a new training program at this airport called Dignity and Security. All TSA agents will go through this program." Marcus stepped forward. "Sir, can I participate too?" Trump smiled. "Marcus, you'll be the co-instructor of this program." Everyone was shocked. Marcus's eyes filled up. "Sir, why?" "Because you understood your mistake, and you don't want others to make the same mistake. That makes you the best teacher." 3 months later, the first Dignity and Security training program started at Chicago O'Hare. Marcus Cole was the lead instructor. The program was so successful that it spread to airports across America. Sarah Winters got promoted. She took a director position at FAA. Detective Rivera started managing reform programs in airport security. And Trump, he still travels in civilian clothes sometimes, but now no one arrests him when they don't recognize him, because everyone has learned. Appearances can be deceiving, but respect is universal. A year later, Marcus Cole wrote a letter to Trump. "Dear Mr. Trump, I'm sorry for arresting you that day, but the lesson I learned that day changed my life. I now look at people differently, and I'm teaching this lesson to thousands of agents. Thank you for turning my worst day into my best teacher." When Trump read the letter, he smiled. Then he told his assistant, "Invite Marcus Cole to the White House. I'm giving him an Outstanding Service Award." And so, an arrest incident turned into a reform movement, because sometimes the biggest mistakes lead to the biggest learnings, and sometimes the most unexpected people create the biggest changes. The lesson Trump taught that day was simple. Don't judge anyone by their clothes. Don't judge anyone by their appearance, because everyone has a story, and that story is worth listening to. Today at Chicago O'Hare, that memorial plaque still hangs, in memory of a lesson learned. Dignity has no dress code, respect has no uniform, and everyone deserves to be seen, not just looked at. And Marcus Cole, he still works there, but now he's a different man. He looks at every passenger with the same respect. He examines every ID with the same care. And most importantly, he never judges anyone by their appearance, because he learned that day. Sometimes the most powerful people can look the most ordinary, and sometimes the biggest lessons come from the smallest mistakes. At the end of this story, only one question remains. Do you judge anyone by their appearance? Because maybe that ordinary person could be your most important teacher who will change your life.